Hi, fellow traders. I hope you guys had a good day today. It was a crazy Tuesday. I think a lot of people were kind of waiting and looking forward to this Apple event today, which turned out to really not be much of anything. But just a kind of crazy day. We'll look at that here in a minute. But this morning I gotta apologize to you guys that were in chat this morning. I flat came unglued, came apart, however you want to phrase it. That's what it was, and all because of breaking one of the main rules that we have in trading. One of the key things that I try to teach from the very beginning is having unrealistic expectations, and it's gonna creep in. There are going to be times where you will have unrealistic expectations. It will sneak up on you, and it causes the trauma. And that's what was happening today. I would get in the trade. I would expect it to immediately go my way, and not give me any headaches because the market is where I want it to be, and everything is lined up and in the right place. But in reality, it doesn't happen that way. Some of the most perfect setups fail. And we know this. We see this every day. But for some reason, I got all my new stuff hooked up. My screens look better than they've ever looked. I think everything was perfect. The world was finally my universe was finally lined up, and so I was expecting everything to be perfect, and I can't blame anybody but myself. But that's one of the things that we have to guard against. We can't sit here and have expectations. We all expect to make money. I mean, that's a given. But I'm talking about on individual trades, because you don't know going in whether it's going to work or not. And really, it shouldn't matter. What should matter is that you have a trade plan and that you're going to execute that trade plan 100%. Because that's the only thing that we have 100% control over is our execution. And even then, our execution is only as good as our platform, because I've lately have gotten in some trades and I had a little delay, but I think I got all that fixed. Getting everything, all the new stuff set up, and having the right speeds, and having the right equipment is key. So I think a lot of that had to do with my issues, but execution is something that we have to worship, because that is what we have 100% control over. When we control whether we click that button, unless you have a happy cat like me that tends to walk across your keyboard if you leave it untucked. But we have 100% control over that. We don't want to give that control up. We don't. And if we have unrealistic expectations, we give it up. And so, I'll show you as we go through my trades here. But this is kind of how I felt. And the market's coming apart too. Well, it came apart today. But that doesn't mean it's going to keep coming apart. Today might have just been a rest day where things just kind of shook itself out, moved around a little bit. We don't know. Tomorrow we may be moving back up. Who knows right now? Right now we are around three. We're over 350, like around 351 or something. That's not bad. So I took this snapshot a little bit earlier, but we have, we're up over 351 now. But you can see this is kind of an inside day. I don't believe that we made a lower low. And we definitely didn't make a higher high. So we kind of had an inside day. This could be a resting day, because look what this did. Gap up and a little push. Gap up and a little bit bigger push. Bigger gap up, bigger run. So it's got the rest. We know stocks don't go straight up or go straight down. So, we're holding above all the technicals. The chart still looks strong. Like I said, we didn't make a lower low, even though we came close. So everything looks to be still intact. Like I said, today it just disconnected from itself, came unglued, came apart, fractured a little bit. But just like I did today, just have to bring those pieces back together. And I believe we're going to see that tomorrow. And you can look, here's a 5-minute channel, and you can see this is just crazy price action. Anytime I see long wicks on most of the candles, it's really choppy. And to me, this is a broken or cracked up or fractured market, when we see this. But, like I said, we're due for these days. So look at tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't think this is breaking down just yet. But tomorrow will tell. And we'll see which direction we're going to go. All right, so first trade out of the gate this morning, BA. And now I really thought this was a beautiful, beautiful setup. Nice window. I saw the level I wanted. It lined up with the 60-minute chart. Everything was in alignment. Even though I don't really use the 60-minute chart on opening range trades, everything just happened to line up. And so got in. It sold off a little bit. We opened back up here. It closed up here, and then we opened up here, and then we started to sell off. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. We're in good shape. And then this candle opens. We sell off some more. Don't quite get to my probably about 15 cents, 15 to 17 cents from my first target. And that was that. And I got frustrated right out of the gate. I was done, because you guys know there's no way I'm going to take this off. No way I'm going to take this off here. I'm always the one that is sitting here saying, give it room, be patient, and all of this. So you knew something was wrong with me this morning when I pulled this off. And had I held my stop, it would have hit my first target, because even though we broke above the opening range low here, this candle never confirmed it. We never made a higher high. There was no confirmation. And this sold back off, hit my target, and then bounced back. But you can see later in the day, it eventually, sold off. So this probably could have been one. I would have been stopped out of this back at break even, before it even made this move. But, this is like one of those frustrating days. I mean, I could have gotten back in this, but I was just over it. But this is what happens. Unrealistic expectations. It didn't do what I wanted to do immediately, so I just took it off. And that's very immature. So here we go with Apple. So this one, I kind of waited for the announcement. Now, as I said before, I said it yesterday, the trade on Apple was getting in last week, holding it up into the event, and then selling it. And that's what you saw a lot of people do. This is straight profit taking from what my analysis, or my thesis was, this was big time profit taking, because you had people, the idea was to get in it last week. You got what, 10 points or more, take profit, and you let the suckers buy. And that's kind of what happened today. So I waited for the event to happen, kind of fizzled out, didn't really have anything on it. So I'm thinking, hey, we're going to sell off. But guess what? I did the same damn thing I did this morning. I wasn't cured. It didn't go immediately. It started to push back up, so I stopped out. Back at break even. And the other thing was that I was thinking about was, maybe I just didn't want to lose. I didn't want to lose any money. And so I'm just not letting it go against me if it doesn't work. And that's not the right mindset. I know there's some people that trade that way, but I can't do that. That's not the trader that I am. So I got back in, and the trade started to work. It didn't quite hit my second target was 119.50. It didn't quite get there, kind of just like it did on BA this morning. But I was happy. I did get at least a base hit on this, and was able to stop out at break even. And it's just kind of messed around. It didn't really do much after that. Just kind of traded in a range. But tomorrow, Apple may start to recover. We have to kind of wait and see how it opens, and if there's any buzz around it. If it is, you may see it get through all of this pre-market, and we end up opening green on the day, opening over the close, today's close. So we'll just have to wait and see on it. But it is a possibility. It is a possibility. Roku, this was a nice one. Even though I did get stopped out on Roku earlier, I was trying to get the reversal. I just need to stop trying to trade reversals and just let them come to me. That's something I just need to stop doing. But tried to that's what I was doing here, trying to trade the reversal. Once we break the high, trade's done. But it did. Once it did that, it turned around and came back to the 9, which was my first target. So this is like 3 times today that I've gotten shaken out, whether it was by my fault or somebody else's fault, or I can blame it on somebody else. But this was like the 3rd time I got shook out today. So that's kind of that's kind of frustrating. So what happened was, of course, I wasn't calm, cool, and collected on this, and I ended up double clicking it, and which meant it didn't. The order didn't go through initially. I didn't see it, and so I clicked it again. It's like, let me out, and it double clicked. So it sold, and then it turned around and bought like 6 seconds later. And so I was like, the hell with this. I need to go for a walk. Okay, I needed to calm down, and it held up. This thing held up, and I got to my first target, and I was so messed up in this trade, I didn't even have my targets laid out. I didn't even give it a whole lot of thought because my initial plan was not to go long. So I didn't have a long plan. And when I got back, I shouldn't have taken it here. I should have waited till like 232, which is close to this, but around 232. This should have been my second target. Like 234.50, 235 should have been my next target. And then I should have just left the rest on until the end of the day. You guys that know me, know my trading, that's what I do. This should have been a trade that I worked all day. Even if I got stopped out on the initial move, dumb trying to trade a reversal, you trade the bounce. This flagged out beautifully. You trade it, and this thing worked all day long. I was happy because I thought, well, maybe I got the meat of the move. Look at this. This is an even bigger move. And it didn't take nowhere near as long as this move did. So, you're going to have days like this, but those days don't mean you have to lose money. You may not make as much money as you probably could have. Now, I could have cleaned up today. This could have easily been over $1,000 a day. But for whatever reason, things did not turn out, and I came in with a crazy mindset out of nowhere, and then that was that. So ended up only 266.37, 13 tickets. I mean, that's a lot for me. But 13 tickets, $266.37. I think my first Roku trade, I lost. I think the first trade I lost around $500 or so. Might have been how much it was down. I'm trying to add it in my head. And then the double click came, and then that was that. And I made back like $630 on the double click. So that kind of balanced itself out. BA was practically a wash, as you could see, only $18. And then Apple was Apple. So, not the best of days, but better than being red. So we can only go up from here. Now earnings is on deck. Can't wait for earnings to hit. It's kind of kicked off today a little bit. We're gonna continue on the rest of the week. So that's gonna be the third cog in the market here. Like I said yesterday, we've got politics, policy, and now earnings is going to come in, and it should make for a very interesting month right up into the election, and then maybe a couple weeks afterwards. So looking forward to having some fun in these markets. Now tomorrow is the midday swing update, so we'll update all the swings there. I did take first profit on Chewy, CHWY, at 65 according to the plan, and ZEN made it to 115. That was, I think, the third profit target on it. So we got one more left, is 120. The stop, we got a profit stop on it. So I'll email all that stuff out to you tonight. Not email. I'll tweet it out to you tonight and try to have what we're watching for tomorrow. And we'll go over everything in the morning. And everything will be detailed in the update that we do on Wednesday. So I just do I'm doing a midweek update on Wednesdays for the swings, and then we do our normal session on Sunday morning, where we do the final for the week, and then we look at and build a watch list for this week, and do some market analysis and all that good stuff. But and then we had a couple that were on watch from Sunday that didn't really do much yesterday. We still had an opportunity today. Give us some opportunities. So, everything is good. So you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I will catch you guys tomorrow and play with this new computer some more. See what I can make it do.